So they'll be calling you a radical. Let's get back to the salmon numbers. So it's been an epic collapse. It's been reported at the Yukon. They said it's never happened. They're the native elders. They said their fathers said it never happened. Not even the chums showed up. So we can go on mystified, baffled, puzzled, stumped, perplexed. We can stay with that narrative till the entire planet's dead. Let's just stay on it forever, because that's what we've done for 10 years. I haven't. Real science doesn't go there. Real science would never use baffled or mystified or puzzled or stumped or perplexed or alarmed or idle, especially 10 years after the fact of a major event. They would never say that. No scientist will ever say that I don't know. He would not say that. A true scientist would hypothesize different scenarios. He'd say, well, it could be this, could be this. Then he would narrow it down to one. But I went right to when it happened, because the major event, Fukushima. So let's get to the salmon counts on the Columbia River. We can talk Fraser River. We can talk the Kenai. We can talk the Jedediah Smith. There's no dams on the Jedediah Smith. We could talk the Rogue. We could talk all these rivers. But let's talk the Columbia, because 400 rivers drain into that river, to the sea. It's the big beast, 2.5 miles wide, 400 tributaries, into Canada, into Idaho, into Montana, Oregon, Washington. The beast. Steelhead. They gill netted in 2010 416,000 salmon. Steelhead. Gill netted and caught. Went by the dam, 426,000. I've worked this with ODFW. WDFW, they're so derelict, it's unbelievable in Washington. But ODFW, so the number in the steelhead in 2010 on the Columbia was 826,000. That's caught steelhead. That's caught and kept. That's gill netted. Gill netters don't lie, and they don't release them. Without the gill netting, 426,000. Okay. They start to decline immediately. Got to be dams. No. It took them 7 years to come out of the Nile dying at sea. Right now, today, last year, we declined every year. We're 77,000 from 826,000. Today, we're at 50,000. It looks like to me they're going to come in right around 60,000. The run's about over. Let's get to the Chinook. Everybody's like, this is the smoking gun of Fukushima. It's undeniable. How can you measure for something you don't even know what it is? Dead tide pools. Just a coincidence. The Fuktonium fires. The heat bubble over the western United States. Coincidence. Longevity headed south. Coincidence. Cancer rates skyrocket. All post the Fukushima meltdowns. All hypothesized by Kevin Blanch. The real science. Real science works like this. Not these PhDs and what academia. Academia is a total fraud in the United States. Real science works like this. You hypothesize something. Well, these are full-blown out meltdowns. It took me a year and a half to convince anybody it was one meltdown. This is going to release an energy into the biosphere. We don't even know what it is. Then you do the field work. At least 4.5 years, I've done 10. Then you defend your work against this tsunami, the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate, and then the well collapse. Another coincidence doesn't get it. So the salmon. Why we use the salmon? Because we don't count dead tide pools. Kevin Blanch does. We don't count dead humans in bone marrow transplants. Kevin Blanch does. I was almost one of them. Went in the bone marrow transplant 11-11-11. Well, everybody's laughing. We have record returns of Chinook coming post Fukushima. 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. I saw with my own. Yeah, because they go to sea for 5 years on average. They can go up to 8. Wait till 2016. They'll collapse on cue. Now remember, steelhead go to sea 1 year. They can go twice. They're called half pounders the first year. They started to collapse immediately. Again, from 826,000, we're sitting at 50. We're going to go from 826,000 to 60,000 in 10 years. The Chinook, 1.36 1.37 million after the gill netting. Now, I verified this. They gill netted 1.3 million that year and caught and kept. The number is 2.7 million in 2016. In 2015, 2014, over 2 million. We had record returns on record escapement in 2012, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, just growing. Army Corps Engineers live cam is still out. It was up till a few years, and that, remember, this is by number, not by size. Now, we know they're sucked up. We know they're skinny, boots on the ground. That's Kevin Blanch's post ignorance Army, including Tim Martin. The number one still head guide in the whole state of Oregon. So I set my projections in 2016 at 680,000. They set theirs after the gill nets, take out, over the dam. They set theirs at 1.7 million. Came in at 680,000. The cores are melting. The cores are getting deeper. Now remember, this is on top of this year. The IEA at their briefing, 2021, Vienna, was pressed on this, and he says, well, finally admitted it. Let's be honest. We can't get near those cores. We don't know what those cores are. We have no idea what those cores are, and we don't think anybody on Earth knows what those cores are. This is after 10 years and billions and trillions of dollars, and how many workers are dead. Oh, I know. Kevin Blanch was right. Now, good science, of course. You could be, I'll be the next Semmelweis. Remember, he was germ theory. Doctors need to wash their hands. This was a doctor who proved it. That's blasphemy. Little invisible germs flying through the air. They beat him to death, threw him in a rubber room, and beat him to death. You know? Tesla. You know? So, 2017, I set my projection at 480,000. They set theirs at 2.1 million. Came in at 480,000. Once as luck, twice as skilled. Third year, I set mine at 333,000. They set theirs at 2.1 million. Comes in at 336,000. Whoa, wait a minute. This guy, this scientist, this real one, not to mention all my work with the tide pools, why I have a failed decoy valve, why I'm full of AML leukemia, not to mention all the other work I've done simultaneously. I've done the work of 1,000 activists. Got nowhere to go. No publicist, no lawyer, no nothing. Thank you, everybody, to the people that support this historic work, but everybody's given up. Not me. I don't give up. So next year, I set my projection at 220,000. They come out of denial, lower their projection to 1.9 million. That's when they pulled the gill nets. There's no more gill netting. So I doubled mine. I doubled my projection to 400, and I originally was at 280,000, went to 220, that had doubled it. I went back to 480,000. Came in at 462,000. The next year, I put my projection at, if they're going to gill net, I set my projection at 245,000. They set their projection at, they started coming out of denial, 1.3 million. Then they said no gill netting, so I doubled my projection. So I put my projection right around 500,000. That's wherever they came. They're going to come in probably 450,000 this year. Remember, there's only 2 weeks of gill netting this year. So we go from 2.7 million to 480,000. Now we can do math. That's on the Chinook. That's the best case scenario. That's the best one. The Jedediah Smith's down 99%. You go talk to any of these fishermen. You go talk to anybody of these people. These rivers are down 96%, 97% in 5 years on the Chinook. Again, at the Yukon, never seen anything like it. Nothing showed up. And we can go along with mystified, but how long are we going to keep that narrative? I'm not. How long are you going to deny Kevin Blanch's work? You know, what's the next step with me? I've been attacked, I've been abused, I've been, impoverished. I can't believe this, 10 years. I've been dead on the money. This is the greatest PhD in human history. And what do I get for it? I got a leukemia. Well, I got abused at all angles. You know, they hired trolls of teams to attack me on the internet. Not to mention out in the street. I do the physical work. I've done the work of 1,000 activists in the last 10 years. 1,000 research PhDs. Scientists are mystified, they're baffled, they're puzzled, they're stumped, they're perplexed, they're bewildered. We're going to go along with that. That's not science. In fact, it's criminal. It's derelict. The Great Pacific Genocide, as Kevin Blanch named it, that's what it is. Kevin Blanch. Great Salt Lake's at normal levels. It's going to cause a heat bubble. This energy is going to rise up off the Pacific and cause a heat bubble over the western United States. Great Salt Lake's going to go dry. Salmon will collapse in 2016, this know. Steelhead will start to collapse immediately. Tide pools will wipe out. Cancer rates will skyrocket. Not to mention mutations. You know, that's a whole nother dissertation. I get into the COVID hypothesis. You're going to deny my work. Okay. Where do we go from here? I don't know. Lonely, heartbreaking 10 years of incredible work. I don't know where I go. Just keep doing my work. That's all I can do. You know, hopefully I beg for somebody to back up my content. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's too tough to handle the truth. Stay tuned.